itself. All I'm trying to say is the more you work on it, the more you'll have it. And the one most important thing to understand with this kind of stuff, or in any defense situation, is there's no guarantees, right? Only opportunity, okay? And that was quoted by Edgar Salute, which I happen to like that very much. So, with all that said, let's go to the low line, all right? The bag's a little bit farther away for this little phone cam to fit, so bear with me. Ha. All right, so now we're out here. As you can see, I'm further away now. But you got the idea where the arm is. Okay, it's aiming at my upper thigh, just above my knee. Okay, it could also be a groin shot or a lower bladder shot. Now, again, when we're talking about this stuff, remember high line is fingers up, low line is fingers down, mid line is fingers straight forward. Yes, you have some variance, but you also use your legs. You want to lower yourself. You don't want to bend over to do low line stuff. You want to drop your center and work at it from down here. Okay, so remember on high line, we dealt with the stop and the pass and the stab. On the low line, it's just the same deal, okay? But the fingertips are down, which means your blade is down. So if we're dealing with the simple stab, see, to the groin, the first thing you're going to do is hollow out, okay? When you hollow out, you drop your, don't just bend at the waist, drop your legs as well. Scooch out. Now when you pass, you're going to pass to the outside of the weapon-bearing limb, okay? You're going to do a bicep cut. You're going to pass a monitor, block, stab the leg. Bail. Okay, that makes sense? Watch it again. I scooch out, pass, cut the bicep, pass a monitor, trap, stab the thigh. Now, I'm showing you this slow. Obviously, you want to try to time the thrust when you can. This is why, as I mentioned before, the length of the arm is based on my reach. It's a place to start. Obviously, some people will have longer reach, some people will have shorter reach. But you start with your own limb to get used to the idea of responding way outside their commitment. Then you deal with it, then you re-enter. That's important. If you're not accustomed to movement, you need to become accustomed to movement. Movement is paramount. Everything's in the footwork. If you don't have footwork, you're in trouble. If your attacker has footwork, you're in trouble. So these are things to understand, and it's a measure of distancing is what you're learning to do. Obviously, we don't want to get stabbed or cut, right? So that makes common sense. So really emphasize the scooch out and the pull and the pass and the bicep cut. So when you do it, it's all one motion. And the idea, again, is to get to the outside of the weapon-bearing limb. In this case, my opponent will be right-handed, or my attacker, the threat, right? So when you're here like this, okay, and you practice, maybe put your left leg forward, okay? Or you can put your right leg forward, it really doesn't matter. Or you can stand square. The point is, what you need to be able to do is hollow out, pass, cut, monitor, and get to the left side as fast as you can. So it's here. See? I'm already here. Now I monitor, I stab. I bail. Okay? Now, let's take a look at the thrust situation. And he's right-handed, I'm left-handed. Okay? Basically, the first movement was a closing of my hands. Okay? Closing cruzado. This is going to be an opening. Okay? Because I'm going to have the blade in my left hand. Remember, he's attacking with his right hand. So when I start to hollow out, my empty hand is going to pass the blade. My left hand is going to cut the bicep. Okay? Then I'm going to step off to the side and stab the leg. All right? Because what happens if you get a good bicep cut, obviously he's going to want to extend. If you really cut the flexors really good and that bicep balls up, the tricep's going to take over and straighten the limb. So it makes it easy to move. If you cut the tricep, the bicep's going to take over and want to pull it. Make sense? So when I'm talking about doing these cuts, I'm not talking about half-ass cuts. I'm talking about make the cuts real. That's why you have to practice it. And when you hit the arm, you want to hit it with power and speed. So that's what you do. When you're working with an opponent, okay, we tone it down, and that's not to our benefit to be effective. Okay? This is why I don't call what we're doing martial arts, because in a lot of martial arts, okay, you respect your partner, obviously. You don't want to hurt them. When I talk about this stuff, I'm talking about we're in a really oh shit moment, and you have to be effective. You know, because a lot of times when these style of attacks happen, it's not ready, set, go. You're not even going to be aware. So if you notice, my hands aren't all up and ready to go. I'm pretty relaxed when I start out. So you always want to practice this kind of stuff with your everyday stance, which really is how you walk. One foot will be forward, one foot will be backwards, or they'll be side by side. But what you want to always do, try to unlock your knees, okay? And keep your weight distributed in the middle of your feet. And it's real easy to step and tuck your tail, sort of like a monkey. If you lock your knees, okay, and your weight's on the balls of your feet and your knees are locked, you have to unlock, get in that monkey position before you can even move anyway. So it's a good practice to unlock your body when you're doing this. Okay, so let's go back to this again. So now, like I just showed you, remember, you're left-handed, they're right-handed. Okay? When you zone out, you scooch, give that room. As you pass with the right hand, you're stepping with your left foot to their right side, and you backhand cut the bicep, right? From there, the stab to the thigh is right there, okay? Because keep in mind, when somebody goes to cut your leg, they're not standing there bending over. They're getting down low and they're going to cut. So you'll see that the arm lined right up. And that's the idea. Okay, that explained the stab. Now let's go to the slashing motion, okay? The slashing motion, obviously it's going to be swinging, okay, from the outside in. From my left side, it'll be coming in. If you notice with the slashing motion, all right, if we can't zone out, the first thing we'll do, remember the block and cut up high? Block and cut here, okay? When you block, you still step back. Bicep cut, pass, monitor, stab, run away. Okay? Here, again, okay? You drop down, you step out. Bang. Right? Notice how I scratch down my legs? Right? I'm not standing tall, I'm unlocking myself, being the monkey. You know, I know it's comical a little bit, but think about it. You really feel balanced. Plus, when you drop your tail, unlike your knees, you can pick your knee up, no problem. If you stand straight, lock your knees, it's really difficult to pick your leg up. So, then if you wear baggy pants, and it makes it more difficult. Unlock your knees, and your knee come right up. It's not a problem. Okay. So again, block, scooch out, block, bicep cut, monitor pass, stab, fail. Okay? So we've covered the right hand slash. That's you being right-handed and you being left-handed. Obviously, when you switch sides and do it, it'll be the opposite. And always remember to train both sides. It's so important. I know a lot of people think, you should only train your natural side. Well, why can't they both be natural? I have found that to be true. So, in this way, you have a more well-rounded understanding of what can and should happen, which you want to confuse the enemy always. Especially if they're stronger, faster, better than you, doesn't mean they're going to win. Remember, it's all about the proper timing and moving at the right time. As Steve Sexton, my teacher, always said, you can make anything work if it's done at the right time. So I spent my whole martial career studying that very aspect. He was one of the biggest inspirations for me because when you watch him do something, he lands it. It's amazing. And it always has been amazing, and to this day it's amazing because he could still do it. The whole point with studying both sides is you never know which direction stuff is going to come from. And remember, there's no ready, set, go. It doesn't work like that, all right? Not with the street attack, not with a predatorial style of attack, which is what I'm referring to. I'm not referring to the bar fight. I'm not referring to, okay, we're going to get it on, put your hands up like that. I'm not referring to that. I'm referring to when you are unprepared or unaware of what's going on. which the first two things I said are one of the reasons you get hurt, because you're either unprepared or you're unaware. So again, that's a whole nother take. We're talking about the techniques here, okay? All right, so now I want you to realize that if you can catch the slash to your leg and you step out, we're back to right-handed now. If you step out and you don't have to block, remember the same thing you did with the staff, it will work. Because you're already zoning out, just like if it's coming at you. If it's coming straight at you, for the sake of camera, I'll use highline for demonstration. If it's coming straight at you and it's a thrust, you zone out and cut, monitor, block, stab. If it's a slash and it's coming straight out, okay, you don't block it. You zone out, you pass, cut, monitor. It's the same thing. It's just a matter of timing. When are you doing it? It's always a good idea if you can let the power pass. Sometimes you can't. That's why you got to bang. You got to hit, boom, move it. Then move forward. Okay? All I'm trying to say is this concept works. Right or left side. Cross-referencing, lefty to righty, righty to lefty. High, elbow line, low line. It all works. You just have to practice it. And if you make yourself an arm bag, you can practice it because it's a lot of fun. One of the best benefits about the arm bag, it doesn't get tired. You can't hurt it. And if you don't pay attention, it can bitch slap you. It hurts. I'm telling you, if you're not paying attention. So that's why it's such a very cool tool. All right? Okay. Thanks for listening. I want to touch on the low line stuff. And next time I'm going to start showing some Hapkido, Aikido, boxing along with the arm. My whole emphasis is on the arm. I'm not trying to sell the arm. I could care less. What I'm trying to show you is a training concept that does bear fruit, a lot of it. And I know that to be true for myself. As my skill level has grown and all the teachers I've had, you have to be able to apply what you know or what you think will work. And realistically, if you don't train it that way, it's not going to happen. So when you're sitting there working on anything, you want to make sure you can reach your training partner with real time and real intent. Otherwise, it's a big waste of time. It's just a bunch of bullshit drills that look pretty and are moves. There's no real intent. And obviously,